Time is short, we know that. Turn on the news and you'll see all kinds of possible events coming in our very near future. Things that could disrupt supply chains, cause economic turmoil, you name it. We want to be ready for this. We want to be prepared. And a big part of that is having a well-stocked pantry. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about taking control and being proactive. Having a few months' worth of food on hand can make all the difference if things get tough. It's about peace of mind, knowing you and your family are prepared. So, in this video, we're diving deep into 5 things you can stockpile right now, very quickly, to build up your prepper pantry. These are simple, affordable staples that can make a world of difference. Canned goods. Canned food is like the real estate of the pantry world. It's reliable, it's affordable, and it lasts practically forever. We're talking years, guys, years. Think about it. Canned fruits, canned vegetables, canned soups, canned meats. They're all packed with nutrients, ready to eat, and they require zero prep work. You don't even need to cook them if you don't want to. Just open the can and you're good to go. And the best part is, canned food is everywhere. You can find it at the grocery store, the dollar store, even online. And it's so affordable, especially if you buy in bulk. I'm talking about those giant Costco-sized packs, people. You can easily stock up on a few months' worth of canned goods without breaking the bank. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but canned food is boring. And you know what? You're right. It's not exactly gourmet dining. But here's the thing. When it comes to prepping, boring is good. Boring is reliable. Boring is what's going to get you through a tough time. Plus, there are actually tons of ways to make canned food more exciting. You can add spices, herbs, sauces, get creative with it. There are entire cookbooks dedicated to making delicious meals out of canned food. Don't be afraid to experiment and find what you like. The key here is to stock up on a variety of canned goods. Don't just get all soup or all vegetables. Mix it up. Get some fruits, some veggies, some protein sources like tuna or chicken. That way, you'll have a well-rounded pantry that can keep you going for the long haul. Always check those expiration dates. Canned food lasts a long time, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. So make sure you're rotating your stock and using the oldest cans first. Rice. Rice is like the foundation of a prepared pantry. It's cheap, it's filling, and it stores incredibly well. I'm talking like indefinitely well if you store it right. You can find giant bags of rice at places like Walmart. No membership required for just a few bucks. And we're not talking about those tiny little bags either. I'm talking about those massive 20-pound behemoths that could feed a small army. Now here's a pro tip for you. Once you get that giant bag of rice home, don't just leave it in the bag. Transfer it to something more airtight. Old 2-liter soda bottles work great for this. Just make sure they're clean and dry, then fill them up with rice, screw the cap on tight, and you're good to go. Storing your rice like this will help keep it safe from moisture, pests, and any other unwanted guests that might want to set up camp in your pantry. Plus, it makes it super easy to grab and go if you ever need to bug out in a hurry. Another thing you can do to keep your rice fresh and pest-free is to freeze it. Just toss those 2-liter bottles of rice in the freezer for a few days and it'll kill off any potential rice weevils or their eggs that might be lurking inside. You're thinking, rice is boring. And you know what? You're right. Plain rice can be about as exciting as watching paint dry. But here's the thing. Rice is incredibly versatile. You can use it to make stir-fries, soups, stews, casseroles. The possibilities are endless. You can even grind it into flour to make bread or pancakes. So don't be afraid to get creative and experiment with different recipes. Dried beans, small but mighty survival superstars. Let's move on to another pantry essential: dried beans. Dried beans are like the silent assassins of the food world. They're small, they're unassuming, but they pack a serious nutritional punch. First of all, dried beans are incredibly affordable. You can get a giant bag of them for just a few bucks, and that one bag will last you a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean a long time. We're talking years, people, years. Second, dried beans are nutritional powerhouses. They're loaded with protein, fiber, and essential vitamins and minerals. In fact, they're one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can eat. And unlike some other plant-based protein sources, beans actually contain all 9 essential amino acids, making them a complete protein. Plain beans aren't exactly going to win any culinary awards. But here's the thing. Beans are incredibly versatile. You can use them to make soups, stews, chilies, dips, spreads. The possibilities are endless. You can even add them to baked goods for a boost of protein and fiber. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you can even sprout them for an extra nutritional boost. When it comes to storing dried beans, you want to keep them in a cool, dry place. I like to store mine in airtight containers, like those big food-grade buckets you can get at the hardware store. Just make sure the buckets are clean and dry before you fill them up with beans. Sugar, the sweetener that stands the test of time. Now let's talk about something sweet: sugar. I know, sugar gets a bad rap these days, but when it comes to long-term food storage, sugar is actually a really smart thing to have on hand. Sugar is a great source of quick energy. In a survival situation, you might not have access to your usual sources of caffeine or sugary drinks, so having some sugar on hand can give you that much needed energy boost when you need it most. Also, sugar is a natural preservative. It helps to inhibit the growth of bacteria and mold, which is why it's used to preserve jams, jellies, and other foods. This means that sugar can actually help to extend the shelf life of other foods in your pantry. And let's not forget about the morale-boosting properties of sugar. In a stressful or uncertain situation, a little bit of sweetness can go a long way. Whether you're baking up a batch of cookies or just adding a spoonful to your coffee, sugar can help to lift your spirits and make things a little bit brighter. Now, when it comes to storing sugar long-term, you want to keep it in an airtight container in a cool, dry place. Those paper bags that sugar usually comes in, yeah, those aren't going to cut it for long-term storage. Moisture is the enemy of sugar, so you want to make sure it's stored in a way that will keep it dry. I like to transfer my sugar from those flimsy paper bags to more durable containers, like Mylar bags or food-grade buckets. Mylar bags are great because they're airtight, moisture-proof, and they take up less space than bulky buckets. Plus, you can get them with oxygen absorbers, which will help to keep your sugar fresh for even longer. Another option is to buy your sugar in bulk from a place like Azure Standard. They sell organic sugar in 25-pound bags, which is a great way to save money and stock up on a large quantity at once. Flour power, from wheat berries to freshly milled goodness. Last but not least, let's talk about flour. Now you're thinking, flour doesn't last forever. And you're right, it doesn't. Regular all-purpose flour has a shelf life of about 6 to 12 months, even when stored properly. But here's the thing, we're not talking about regular flour here, we're talking about wheat berries. Wheat berries are basically just whole wheat kernels that haven't been processed into flour yet. And the cool thing about wheat berries is that they have an incredibly long shelf life. We're talking like decades long if you store them right. I don't have a wheat mill. How am I supposed to make flour out of wheat berries? And that's a valid question. But here's the thing. Wheat mills aren't as intimidating as they seem. You can get a decent electric wheat mill, like a Wonder Mill, for a couple $100. And let me tell you, these things are a game changer. You can literally go from wheat berries to freshly milled flour in a matter of minutes. It's like having your own personal flour factory right in your kitchen. What if the power goes out? How am I supposed to use my electric wheat mill then? And that's a fair point. But don't worry, there's a solution for that too. Manual wheat mills. Manual wheat mills are exactly what they sound like. Wheat mills that you operate by hand. They're a bit more work than electric mills, but they're incredibly reliable and they don't require any electricity to operate. So there you have it. Wheat berries, the ultimate prepper's flour. They're affordable, they store incredibly well, and they allow you to be completely self-sufficient when it comes to flour. 5 things you can really stockpile fast, and that's the key because time really is short. I like these 5 things because they're affordable, easy to find, and they'll last a long time. Plus, they're all incredibly versatile and can be used to make a wide variety of meals. Prepping isn't about being afraid, it's about being prepared. It's about taking control of your future and ensuring that you and your family are taken care of, no matter what life throws your way. I hope this video has inspired you to start building your own prepper pantry. What would you add to the list? Put it in the comments below. And as always, everybody have a great day.